Well, welcome back. I'm supposed to be doing a world building video for Wednesday right now. But the thing is, I have no idea what to make. So, we're just gonna discuss some world building stuff, and I'm gonna throw out a few tips I've learned along the way. Alright, let's start with the tip number one, which just came into my mind, is about making believable worlds. Now, this is going to sound crazy, but just go around your house, find every single every single history book you have, and read it cover to cover. I'm serious. Read every single history book you can. Read as much about history as you can. Read as much as you can, because this is going to be your bread and butter. This is going to be what you do. Just read history books. I'm not kidding. Read them all. Read every single one you can. Read as many history books as you can in your house. If you don't have any, go to the library and just order like 15, and make sure they go and read them up to era of the world you are building, or just read them all the way through modern time, depending on if you have a world already in your head or if you're trying to get inspiration, because trust me, history books are a fountain of information. Alright, most of my world building that I do for my books, which none of which are published, by the way, if I do publish one, I will let you guys know on this channel, but most of the world building I've done that's serious. Yeah, you need to read heavily into history. Now, don't make the mistake, though, that I did with one of my books of basing it too closely on history, because then, instead of becoming believable, it becomes like a rip-off, like a parody of history, and that's fine if you're just doing an alternate history, but for your own world, you don't want to do that. So, read a lot of history, get inspiration for your battles, for your how they lived, but don't let that get in the way. Like, don't try to stick too closely to the real history so that you warp the story, because I was writing a book, and I realized as I was rewriting it that it is way too similar from the historical events that I drew the inspiration from. Like, there are some lines that come originally from the text that I listened to about the historical events, and you don't want to do that. I'm not saying don't take any inspiration. No, that's dumb. And you can even include certain turns of phrase you like, and have the battles be similar, but make sure you, number one, draw from multiple battles and stuff in history, and make the battle different enough that it doesn't seem like a copy, which is a mistake I made. And number two, make sure the war or whatever your story or world is doesn't seem too forced, because this is what I found happening with mine when I tried to base off historical events, is the story seemed forced to follow the path that the actual historical events happened. Draw inspiration, don't force it. But yeah, read a ton of history books. Now that is my number one tip for you. Read tons of history. This will help with your world's history, with your world's culture, with everything, because history, it's real life world building, or it's like the world building of our world. It's amazing. Just read your history books and you will be set. Alright, now I just realized this video is probably just gonna be a black screen, guys, because I'm way too lazy to edit things. I'm sorry, but whatever. Alright, part two here. Let's get into this second tip, and this one is more for characters themselves. Here are some mistakes I made. Don't make these. Don't get too caught up, especially if it's for a story, but even if it's just for world building, on what the character looks like. That can be fun, but don't get caught up in things. Let the character come naturally. Also make it make sense. You don't want to have your character, why, for example, this is in our building on the drawing of history. This is more personal history, but look at yourself. And so look, why do I believe what I believe? Now, for example, I'll take myself, and I would consider myself an extremely loyal person who values loyalty very highly. I don't like people betraying each other. I don't like any of that, and that's one of my highest values, loyalty. Now, why is this? Well, I think there might be a couple reasons if we look at my personal history along with the books and the influences of my younger days. But I'm not getting into those because that's kind of personal, but I'll get into some of the books. I read a lot. I listened to William Wallace's story, which is full of betrayal, and it's horrible. But that society. I listen to stories of William Wallace, Benedict Arnold. I used to read the Bible a lot. The point here is treachery became an ultimate evil for it. It sort of, I saw it as evil. And there are also personal experiences that I'm not going to get into because they're kind of personal that caused me to hate treachery over other evils. Now, have your characters go through this reasoning. This is one of the most basic, but also one of the most forgotten things, and this helps build your history. Why the heck will a king want to mass murder an entire culture or a king race? Why? Why does he want to do that? What caused him to hate that race so much? Now, this can be simple as how he grew up, or it could be complicated, but it doesn't matter. Here's an example from a story I came up with, a world I came up with. There's a king. I'm going to just call him Emperor. His name is Emperor Rizard. Now, Rizard, in the story, he hates this one country and everyone. Sorry, I have a cold. In it, and he wants them dead. Now, why is this? Well, why does Rizard want people dead? Rizard wants people dead because when he was younger, his brother was killed on a diplomatic mission to the country, and he blames the country. This, though it doesn't seem like it, is similar to an actual real-life historical event. Now, any of you history nerds will know this, but I did not even base this off this. The fact is, I realized later how similar it was to a true life story. This could have been back of my head influence, or it could have just been a coincidence. But the true life story this is similar to is that of the of Prince Philip's War. I think I said that right. The War of Prince Philip's War. Prince Philip, or I don't remember his real name, brother, went to the white people, or the English, when he was sick. He was killed, and Prince Philip, on accident, I don't remember how it happened, if he just died of the sickness, or if they accidentally killed him while trying to treat him or where, but Prince Philip blamed the English for this. This led to the Prince Philip, or the, King Philip's War, which was one of the first wars on the American continent between the what are their name? The people that were already there. I'm just gonna say what I've called them: Native Americans or Indians or American Indians or whatever you call them. It led to them attacking the settlers. Now, this is similar to what happens in my story. The character is killed in foreign land. His brother is tragic, who was a good person. He's traumatized by this, and this causes him to go to war. Now, this is where the third tip really comes in. Tip number 3, and this is going to be my final tip. World building is a story. History is a story, and treat it like such. Worlds exist because individuals. Things happen because of individuals, and every single action influences someone else. This is where people make mistakes and why worlds sometimes will seem unbelievable, because we have to remember that, like our world, every single world and everything is a story. History is a story. What happens with individual characters or people or historical figures influences the world, and that's what causes history. Alexander the Great, William Wallace, the Red Baron, Hitler. It doesn't matter who it is, they're individuals. Every single event in history is multiple individuals, or a couple individuals, or an individual doing something. And this is how it breaks down. World building may be about the world and the culture, but all of that comes from individuals. Culture comes from individuals. Religion, individuals. War, individuals. I'll give a couple examples. Culture from individuals is probably the hardest and most confusing, but look at legends. Look at the people we legendize that influence our culture, why we do things out of whatever reason. King Arthur, what's another good example? The old Greek tales, legends and heroes. Thor, which is and Odin, which are religious but influence culture, are at the weekdays are named after these people. What's the other guy? Julius Caesar, Augustus Caesar, both of whom have months of the year named after them, all based on individuals. Now, culture also molds individuals, and it's kind of a cycle where they come together and they mold each other, and this is where that is all individuals. So another one, religion. Every single religion, or almost every religion worshipped in modern times, has a more modern start date, was founded by an individual or group of individuals, and didn't just evolve from an unknown origin like the older ones, which still were probably started by an individual. But we look at these religions: Christianity, Jesus Christ, and then his 12 disciples and their followers. Islam, Muhammad and his followers. Buddhism, Buddha. Just a couple examples here of more modern religions. We see where they come from. Even if you want to go back, if you take certain texts as word, the Jewish religion, Abraham, it doesn't matter what religion you look at, it's all based on an individual. And this is the most crucial world building tip I want you to take away when building a world that you want to be more realistic. Focus on characters and individuals, because that is where everything else stems from. It's all connected to individuals, which connect to other things and their beliefs. Everything is a web of individuals as the building block, with the character as the building block of the world. Because without characters, there cannot be a world history, there cannot be anything. Culture cannot exist, religion will not exist, wars, which was my final example that I almost forgot, will not exist. I'm sorry, that's just how it is. Though, you can, like Tolkien, focus on other aspects, and feel free to do that. Feel free to start somewhere else, but remember that to make a world feel realistic and living and like our world, you need to focus on characters, and you can use this to your advantage if you're trying to create a more alien feeling world by focusing so heavily onto other things that character gets pushed aside. If I focus massively on religion or war or technology or race, so much so that the individuals don't really matter, the world may feel fake, or if done correctly, can feel alien. Now that is what I hope you can take away. Take away these 3 points. Read your history. What's the second one? Think about why people in the history, why they are who they are. And lastly, focus on character. I hope you have a great afternoon. I'll see you all later. Bye!